Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm going to bring you along today while I clean up my bed of Tepin peppers and pick Tepin peppers. And these little bitty peppers have just really kicked off. They're doing pretty well. I'm hoping for a whole wall of them here, but they didn't do quite that well. But they did make it through the winter, last winter, and to my neighbor's delight and my neighbor's little dog's delight, he didn't dig them up anymore. That I've got a pretty good bit of Tepin peppers here to pick before winter sets in, and I need to get this bed cleaned up because we're gonna take and we're gonna reseed some new bushes and get them started in the gaps here, and then hopefully they will continue to weather through the winter, and I can continue to pick these peppers because these are like they're the secret to the secret of Grandpa Mac's pickles. They're incredible. Now you're wondering, man, you're gonna pick all those little bitty peppers. Yeah, I am. There's hundreds of them, and I don't have all day to pick them. I would like to do maybe something else. I've already had my nap for the day. I got my tiller going, and no, I didn't do a video on it. It's one of the hardest jobs you possibly do, what I did to it. So, but it would be make a good video, but whew, it had me guessing. Anyway, I'm gonna introduce you to something here. This is, you know what this is? That's right. It's a berry picker. It's made to imitate the claws of a bear. And it's made actually to pick blueberries. And I first seen one of these on a video. I believe it was Alaska, the Last Frontier. I can't remember. It's kind of hard. Oh, there's a black walnut. We got to get them out of here. Anyway, on the Alaska, the Last Frontier, they were using one of these and to pick blueberries out in the bush. And I was like, man, I just wonder if that'll work on my Tepin peppers. And I ordered me one of them, and I get to use it once or twice a year. But if I don't harvest Tepin peppers this year, I won't have any no pickles next year. Does that make any sense? Because these come on and produce their fruit in the later part of the year. And as you see, look, you just stick it in there, and you pull your vine right through there, and it's a whole lot easier than going through there and picking them one at a time. Yeah, sometimes you get a lot of leaves in there. You get different stuff. You don't just get peppers. Sometimes you have to go through and clean them. But man, we'll be here all day picking peppers. And in Mexico, they pick these by hand. They carry a little basket out there with them and put it around their neck, and it's got a little keeper in the bottom of it that keeps them from coming out the front. If you want to shake it and get the leaves out of it, you can. Me and some friends of mine were on a hunting trip down in South Texas, and I seen these pepper bushes, and I was like, "Are those edible?" And our guide said, "Yeah, they're edible." And I picked some of them, and that night at the lodge, it was up to us. It was not an all-inclusive hunt. So we were fixing our own food. So that night for supper, we made a pot of beans, cornbread, and I think I put 4 of these peppers in that pot of beans, and oh my God, they were so good, and they were hot. That was the only spice I put in them, the only hot spice that I put in them, and those beans were just delicious. And all 3 of us come home with one of those pepper bushes, and I don't know who spread them. If it was my dad, I never gave any of them away. If it was my dad, if it was Mike, I know it wasn't Russell, because Russell got killed the next summer in an automobile accident. And but the news spread about these peppers, and everyone wanted them. But you don't see them that often. And then a few years later, you start hearing about people eating them. They're just wild peppers that grow down in Mexico. And anyway, I believe they are the chief ingredient in one of your better known hot sauces. And it takes quite a bit. I will tell you what hot sauce it is. I will look it up and tell you. But I use it in certain pickling recipes, and they make phenomenal pickles. It really does. And so anyway, I'm gonna go through here. I'm gonna clean up the rest of these, and y'all can see just how well this little thing works. And this little bush right here, I got about 50 or 60 of them. Luckily, it don't take a lot of them to do what I want to do with a small bag. I'll be able to spice up enough of my pickles that we can make a round with. I was hoping by this year I would have millions of them. Well, that's what we got. We got about a double handful. So, Tepin peppers are wild in Mexico. They'll grow just about anywhere. I live right on the border of 9A. It gets really hot here. We live about 115 miles from the coast. We get tropical type weather a lot of the times. It's very hot, very humid, very wet. It rains here. We may get 2 to 3 inches of rain at a time. This past summer, we had the longest, driest drought I can remember in recent history. And these plants overwintered and oversummered through that drought. So I'm kind of proud. Proud of those. The seed are not very prolific. Let's say that they're easier if you transplant the plants, and you can overwinter them. If you can keep them warm, keep them moist, you can overwinter them in a pot. But getting the seeds to germinate is where I've always had the problems. I give seeds to people, and they're coming back next year asking for more, and it's just that way. Even though they're a wild seed, they want a certain condition to come up in, and I'm not really certain what that condition is. If it's a wet and dry, because they usually don't sprout until like May. It's really weird how they do. They really don't sprout until May, and it'd be like, oh, you done forgot about them in the greenhouse. You know, you done got everything else going on, and you done forgot about them in the greenhouse, except for the ones that sprouted early. And that's what they'll do. They'll sprout early, and then you forget about the others, and then you come back and then they're sprouted. Or you don't even know that they sprouted at all, because you done give up on them. You done threw them out. So usually what I do is I make like 500 seed pods. These seed pods, I'll show you what I'm talking about whenever I start seeding. And then I will I've got a little, like a checkbook box that I keep full, that is full of Tepin pepper seed that I picked a few years back. They were good ones. And I had a good year that year. That was on my original mother bush. And where she ended up, I don't know. And I just take and reach in that box and just sprinkle them all over those deals, and then cover it with dirt. I might put, oh my goodness, thousands of seeds out and only end up with 30 or 40 plants. Yeah. So, and then I put all of those in this bed, in this one bed. And then, you know, I just go with it from there. These have overwintered and oversummered through some harsh weather the past few years. So I'm going to probably take these seed right here. I'll take some of them and I will dry them out, and I will use these for my seed to try to germinate, to fill this. I want to fill this box up. I want this box filled. It's about 25 foot long. I want it filled all the way to where whenever I come through here, I can get this thing right here full. And that's a lot. That's a lot. This video was not made for the benefit of Tepin peppers, or to tell you about Tepin peppers, but it was more about telling you about this. Whenever you go to harvesting your Tepin peppers, you can use them. If I was doing it the old-fashioned way, picking them one at a time, I'd still be down there on the third bush. You know, I'm done. I'm done, and I've got other things to do today. I don't know what it is. I'll figure it out in just a few minutes. But in fact, I know what it is. I got to get my trailers out of the garden and get them parked over here out of the way, so I can get my garden tilled up and get it ready for spring. I am so ready for spring. It feels like I have been grinding for years, and but anyway, just always remember that no matter what,